everyone, this is Suneve, and I'm coming to you, A Savior, a Ticci Toby X-Reader by Hatsu-Senpai. We're going to be starting off with Chapter 21. Your body felt light, almost weightless, and you couldn't tell if your eyes were open or closed. It was so dark. The void you seemed to be floating in was cold and made your skin prickle. A faint noise could be heard somewhere behind you, like whispering, but you couldn't make out what the voices were saying. You swatted your arms around in an attempt to move in the direction of the noise, but you felt as if you were only floating in a circle. And after what felt like hours of floating endlessly around in the dark, a bright white light flickered in the distance. And as your eyes fixed on it, it seemed to grow. Its light spread and touched the darkness surrounding it, and you could make out a faint image paired with the whispers you had heard before. I nearly have enough. A black-haired man smiled. He was talking to a pale, twitchy boy that was clutching a motionless girl that looked oddly familiar. She's going to make it, the pale boy whispered in a shaky, tear-torn voice. It isn't humanly possible for her to survive this. Besides, she's going to make it, shouted the boy, cutting off the man. She'll come back to me. Well, the man sighed. I guess she wouldn't be categorized as a human necessarily. The boy twitched and muttered. What is that supposed to mean? The one must be born or a human and a creepypasta. And hope flashed in the boy's hazel eyes, and he asked, does that mean she could live? Depends on who her father is, the man shrugged. Some of our kind are very hard to kill, you know. You mean that she could have inherited a trait like that? They assume it's possible. The black-haired man nodded. Then I'm not giving up on her, Toby declared. Toby, why had you called the boy Toby? I'll be right here when you get back, Wyan, Toby whispered in the ear of the girl he was holding. Those words echoed through the void, and your memories came flooding back to you. Silent tears streamed down your cheeks, and you reached out towards the image. Why didn't you say that earlier? Toby snapped. You didn't ask, Doc shrugged. Now how the hell would I think to ask a question like that? You practically wrote the book on this thing, growled Toby. You asked me to skip my tragic backstory, and that was part of your tragic backstory? Yes, in fact it was, Doc sighed. My mother was the one before your little girlfriend here, and my father was a creepypasta. Well, dang, maybe I should have listened. Toby frowned. As your fingers drew closer to the image, it began to focus in and out. Slowly, the image became blurry and faded away, leaving you with an empty feeling. And then another voice sounded before you, though no image accompanied the man's voice. Don't cry. Who are you? You whispered. I wouldn't expect you to remember me very well, the man sighed. Am I dead? What a cliché question to ask, chuckled the man. Yes, you are. And your breath hitched in your throat. Don't look so distressed, dear. It's only temporary. How is death only temporary? You growled. Because you're just like your father, he laughed. You don't know anything about him. And neither do you. You sure have his spunk, that's for sure. You knew him? You frowned. You could say that, he smiled. Say, have you ever wondered why you're not afraid of the dark? Not really, why? No reason, he chuckled. Well, look at the time. It's time for you to get going. What the heck does that mean? Where? You shouted. The thought of venturing into some unknown afterlife freaked you out. Back, of course, the man sighed. Do keep up, dear. But, no buts, and try not to get into any more trouble. Oh, and please play nice with the shadows, they're sensitive. And with the strange final words, his laugh began to fade, and you were left alone in the dark once again. How interesting, you heard Dr. Smiley smirking. I can't believe it, whispered Toby. You groaned and rolled over in Toby's lap, but didn't open your eyes just quite yet. Went over every detail of your strange dream over and over so you wouldn't forget, and after a few minutes of trying to coax your sore muscles into moving, you opened your eyes and tried to sit up. And take it slow, Toby and the doc said in unison. Glaring daggers at one another, you waved them off and pulled yourself up, wincing at the pain in your head. Wyan? Toby chuckled with a goofy grin on his face and tears in his eyes. Your hair looks awful. Shut up, you snapped. I've had a rough day. He wrapped his arms around you and planted a kiss on the top of your head. How long was I out for? You asked. About an hour, Doc smiled. Quite impressive. All I remember is floating around in this dark void. I could hear and see the two of you, but it was like watching a recording, and then you disappeared, and... Did the man say his name? Doc asked abruptly. What? You winced in shock. His name. Did he tell you his name? What? No. How did you know about that? You asked, staring at him in disbelief. That's a shame. You two should be get going now. Your friends are looking all over for you. And Toby, bring them a nice surprise. He chuckled, avoiding the question entirely. Are you psychic or something? Toby snorted. No, sighed Dr. Smiley. I just assumed that they cared for you as much as you do for them. My mistake. This is why I don't like you, smartass. Toby sighed. Not because I kidnapped your girlfriend, closely examined her body, and drained her blood to the point of death. That's right, Toby growled and rolled up his sleeves. Keep fueling the fire. I've been dying to hit you for quite some time now. That would be unwise. Doc smirked and waved a syringe at him, and I grabbed Toby's arm and nodded to the door. Dear Lord, do we have to climb all those stairs? Toby groaned. Do you have some kind of evil elevator we could take or something? Maybe an evil escalator? Just the evil staircase, my apologies. Doc shrugged, and Toby and I walked to the staircase and looked up with a groan. Can you manage it? I mean, you did just die for an hour after having nearly all of your blood drained, Toby frowned. She's replenished it astonishingly quickly, Doc smiled. You'll need to take them slow or you'll likely pass out, but you should be fine. Thanks, Toby nodded. You know, for a bad guy, you're not a bad guy. He kidnapped and violated me, but strangely, I feel the same way. He frowned. Is this that thing where you fall in love with your captor? It better not be, Toby yelped. We can't both marry you. Let's go, he shivered. This is just weird now. Agreed. Toby nodded and grabbed your hand. The two of you began your long, painstaking trek up the stairs with smiles of joy on your faces, and a strong desire to see your friends urging you onward. Epilogue. His breath swirled in front of him like smoke from the mouth of an idle dragon. Visible in the cold air of the December afternoon, they had fairly mild winter so far, but the temperatures had dropped drastically in the past 2 weeks, and a crisp blanket of snow covered the ground. The white forest seemed so peaceful in comparison to the havoc that seemed to trail behind him. Once he'd met her, he felt as if the havoc that encompassed him had significantly dissipated. When she'd been taken from him, he'd been left alone to face his inner demons alone. Are you alright? A faint smile found its way onto the boy's face, and he dropped his arm around the girl's shoulder, pulling her close and drinking in her warmth. Her delicate shoulders were hunched against the cold wind, and newly fallen snow had begun to collect on top of her head. The boy couldn't hold back a grin. He pulled off his hat and gently covered the girl's hair. And when he'd gotten her back, he felt a new sense of purpose. He decided to dedicate himself to protecting her. His every second, every breath was hers. I'm fine, the boy smiled. Are you sure? You've got that I'm a tortured adolescent look. I do not, he snorted. You do too, but it's kind of cute, she smirked. Did you just flirt with me using an insult? I wouldn't call it an insult. I said it was cute, didn't I? The boy just rolled his eyes and kissed the girl's forehead. She blushed and he grinned. Even though they were engaged now, he still felt like they were little kids who weren't sure how to act around each other. He found this utterly adorable. He pulled her hand from her pocket and twined his fingers with hers, running his thumb over her engagement ring. The boy's best friend squealed from behind them. Ben, you totally just ruined the moment, the boy sighed. There will be more, the girl shrugged with a laugh. Ew, a pale boy chimed in. Gross, Wyan. Oh, shut up, Wyan growled. Great. First Ben ruins our moment, and then Jeff makes sex jokes. Thanks, guys. No problem, Ben and Jeff say in unison. And who said I was making sexual references? Jeff snorted. Very presumptuous of you, Toby. Did Wyan know about these fantasies of yours? All about them, Toby snorted. Don't encourage him. Wyan yelped and slapped Toby's arm lightly. Okay, that's disgusting. A monochrome girl shuddered. I don't think I'm hungry anymore. You better eat, Jane, Wyan warned. You know how long it took me to make all that food? Let's just hope we can suffer through until dessert. Masky made it. Jane smirked. Hey, I totally make edible food, Wyan pouted. That's only half of cooking, dude, Ben pointed out. You're going to shut up and eat it, and you're going to be freaking pleased about it, Wyan glared. Such hostility, a boy in a blue mask laughed. I'm sure it's not that bad. I don't know, EJ, Toby squirmed. You've never had her cooking before. You were all awful. Wyan sighed and turned to Toby, squeezing his hand. You're stuck with it anyway. Never too late to change my mind, Toby shrugged playfully. Then I'm keeping the ring. I want a refund, Toby frowned. Pay up, then. Jeff smirked. I was right. What are you talking about? Toby sighed. Jeff bet $20 that you two would call off the wedding. Ben grinned. I took him up on it because I have a full faith in my OTP. What is wrong with you people? Wyan sighed and buried a face on Toby's shoulder. The same thing that's wrong with you? Toby chuckled. Are we going to eat Wyan's awful food or not? A boy in a white mask with black features called from the door leading to the kitchen. Everyone in the backyard filed through the door, but when Wyan turned to follow, Toby's grip on her hand tightened. Toby? She called in a worried voice. Are you still having those dreams? The girl was taken aback, and for the past 2 weeks since it happened, She'd been having the same reoccurring dreams. She had shrugged it off as a side effect of being legally dead for a few hours, but when she told Toby about it, it seemed to bother him still. You know I am, she replied quietly, studying her tracks in the snow intently. She felt Toby's grip tighten again. Toby, I'm sure it doesn't mean anything. It's just a dream. Don't you think it could be connected to, you know? Toby's quiet voice trailed off, and he stared into the snow-covered forest. Does it really bother you that bad? Wouldn't you be bothered if you were in my place? Toby's voice sounded broken and weak, almost defeated. Toby, Ryan called firmly, and his eyes slowly wandered to meet hers. I love you more than anything and anyone. I would give my life for you. You know I would. You've seen it. Do you really think I would have sacrificed myself for you if I wasn't positive about how I felt about you? Yes, Toby whispered. That's who you are. You'd give your life to protect a stranger if you had to. But you are not a stranger. Toby looked up from his feet and met her eyes, holding her fiery gaze. He knew what she meant, and he believed every word she said, but he couldn't help but worry. He knew there had to be someone better for her out there, and it was only a matter of time until they showed up and took his only true happiness. He wanted to believe that her dream was nothing more than just that, but he couldn't help but feel uneasy. Nay, Toby began, but his words were cut off by a kiss, and Ryan leaned onto the tips of her toes and wrapped her arms around his neck, pulling him closer to her. And after a few moments, he leaned in and wrapped his arms around her waist, tugging her so close that he could feel the heat of her body through both of their coats. And when she broke away, she smiled up at him. She smiled back and buried his face on her shoulder, taking a deep breath. I love you, he whispered. I love you too, she whispered back. They stayed intertwined for a few moments longer before a voice made them jump apart. Food's getting cold, Ben called from the doorway. What is it with you and ruining our moments? Toby sighed, taking Ryan's hand again, and this time with more confidence. It's fun, Ben shrugged and wandered back into the kitchen where roars of laughter could be heard. And without speaking another word, Toby and Ryan grinned at each other. Hand in hand, they followed after their friend with a new strength guiding their hearts. And in that moment, they felt invincible. At the time, they never thought that feeling would be tested. That is the end of that series. Holy crap, that is crazy. There's no other chapters after that, no extras, no nothing. Let me know how you guys felt about that whole series, and I apologize for these episodes getting out pretty late, but it'll be okay. It'll be okay. But you guys have a safe fall, winter, and all. Please, please go take medicine. Please, go get your vaccines. I'm begging you. Other than that, y'all have a wonderful day or night, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.